Hello, welcome back to Wellness Unplug, where we strip away the filters and talk honestly about what really impacts our health and happiness. I'm Lesley, and today we're tackling a topic that so many South Africans are quietly battling: stress and burnout. Yes, I know, we've talked about it how many times before, but in a country where daily life can feel like survival mode, from financial pressures to job insecurities, from load shedding to safety concerns, stress has almost become our national language. But here's the thing: just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal, and certainly it doesn't mean it is sustainable. Today we're going to look at the psychology of stress and why burnout creeps up on us, why South Africans are particularly vulnerable to this cycle, and most importantly, why rest is not a luxury, but a revolutionary act of self-preservation. Let's start with the basics. We've talked about it before, but what actually happens when we feel stressed? When your brain perceives a threat, whether there's a lion on the savannah, or more realistically a looming deadline or financial worry, your amygdala signals the body to release stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This prepares you to fight, flee, or freeze. In short bursts, stress can be useful. It sharpens focus, boosts performance, and helps us meet challenges. But when the stress never switches off, your body stays flooded with stress hormones. Over time, this leads to fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, disrupted sleep, and eventually burnout. Burnout isn't just being tired. Psychologists define it as emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged excessive stress. And once it sets in, it can take weeks, or in some cases even months, to recover. Now let's look at our context here in South Africa. Stress and burnout are global issues, but in South Africa they carry a very unique weight. We live in a country with staggering inequality, unemployment, and uncertainty. Many households are under financial strain. Safety concerns, political instability, and social pressures add another layer. Even something like load shedding creates a constant low-level stress that chips away at resilience. On top of all of that, South Africans have a cultural expectation of toughness. Just push through. Keep hustling. Be grateful. But this mindset often masks exhaustion until it becomes burnout. And here's the irony: the harder we push without resting, the less productive, creative, and compassionate we become. One of the most damaging beliefs we can carry is that rest is laziness. But neuroscience and psychology tell us a very different story. When we rest, whether it's that proper sleep, time in nature, or simply unplugging, the brain shifts into what is called the default mode network. This is where creativity, problem solving, and emotional processing happens. So in reality, rest isn't wasting time. Rest is what allows us to show up with clarity and resilience. Without it, we're just surviving. We're not thriving. So how do we break the cycle of stress? Here are some strategies I often share. Redefine rest. Rest doesn't just mean sleep. It can be emotional rest, saying no to dramas or people, sensory rest, stepping away from screens, or social rest, time with supportive, nourishing people. Create boundaries. Burnout thrives where boundaries are absent. Learn to say no without guilt. Remember, every yes to something draining is a no to your own well-being. Check in with your body. Stress often shows up physically first. Those tight shoulders, headaches, digestive issues. Listen to your body when it gives you these signals. They're an early warning. Even if you can't take a week off, build in small restorative pauses every day. 5 minutes of breathing, a walk outside, or a phone-free meal can reset your nervous system. Here's the bigger picture. In a society that glorifies busyness, choosing rest is actually an act of resistance. It's saying, I am more than my productivity. My value isn't tied to how much I can endure. And in South Africa, where we often carry layers of generational trauma, systemic inequalities, and daily uncertainties, rest isn't just self-care, it's survival. And it's what allows us to keep going without losing ourselves. This is exactly why I wanted to create our new wellness space that I opened on the 1st of October, Shop 29 Pennington Centre. It's a space for rest, for recovery, for pausing the noise of everyday stress and focusing on healing, whether through physical treatments for pain, counseling, or simply being in an environment that feels safe and nurturing. Because rest shouldn't be an afterthought, it should be part of the way we live. Stress may be unavoidable, but burnout doesn't have to be. By recognizing the signs, honoring our limits, and choosing rest, we give ourselves permission to live, not just to survive. I'll leave you with this thought from John Lubbock. Rest is not idleness, and to lie sometimes on the grass under the trees on a summer day, listening to the murmur of water or watching the clouds float across the sky is by no means a waste of time. Thank you for joining me on Wellness Unplugged. Until next time, unplug, recharge, and remember, your wellness matters more than you think.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.